According to this, 30% extended range, up to 30% fuel efficiency, increased acceleration, up to 80% quieter and less vibration, and up to 50% more in reverse thrust. Welcome to another episode of the Southern Boating Podcast. I'm Ian Sneed.
I'm James Anderson.
And today we're going to be talking to you about two fun topics. Well, fun to me because one of them is really sciencey, and then the other one is something I didn't know before, so it's really interesting. The first one being a new propeller design, and the second one being strainers and how to clear out a clog in a strainer. So those are the two topics. Before we get started, remember, subscribe to the channel. Comment if you like our outfit change from the last episode because we really, it's.
I work hard on my assembly for this.
If you saw the last episode,
whatever.
If you saw the ensemble,
yeah.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's
whatever. You can cut that out.
I probably won't.
That's plenty fine.
Yeah.
I'm mixed on all my words today. It's one of those days.
Yeah. So we're going to ask you to leave a comment at the end, or maybe not the end, more like the middle when we finish talking about the propeller to get your thoughts on it. And with that, let's transition into that subject matter.
So first off, I will say, I'm like you. This is very much a science thing, so I was very interested and in tune with it, right?
Right.
So anything that raises a lot of questions for me, especially when it's doing something that we've done for multitudes of years,
for who knows
and then all of a sudden we do it different.
Yes.
And it shows, and you can scientifically show that it's far better, is always very interesting to me.
Absolutely.
So the very first time I saw this in person, I looked at it and I went, what on God's earth is that?
Was it
I was like, is that a piece of art?
It was at Palm Beach, wasn't it?
No, it was before you that I saw this for the first time.
Rude. That's the first time I saw it. I think it was at Palm Beach.
That was your first show with me.
Yeah.
So the very first time that I saw it, I looked at it and I was like, is it a piece of art or is that actually a propeller?
Right.
And sure enough, it's actually a propeller. It's got a very unique design to it. It looks more like, and as well described in the article, like a ribbon.
Yes.
Right? Like a bow.
Right, like a bow, like it comes back around.
At that point in time, I become very inquisitive, right? How, why, and what does it do?
Right.
And this article spells it out.
I didn't take notes on the actual scientific words that were used in it, but I did take notes on what the results were from the changes in the design, right? First of all, the design is patented. I loved the history of it.
Multiple patents.
Yes, multiple patents. But I love the history of it. Check this out. Greg Sharrow was trying to reduce sound on the propellers of a drone. Okay, everybody knows drones nowadays. He was doing this in, I think it was like 2012.
Somewhere back there, yeah.
Somewhere around that time. He was trying to minimize the sound that these propellers were making. And in order to test at scale in a way where he could do it properly, he turned to designing the propeller for water because he didn't have to do it at such a large scale to test it. So it was a little probably better on his resources. And he started designing this in water. That's when he saw all of the efficiencies of this design. And I just think it's incredible to think he was thinking of a drone. Now he's got this design that looks to be extremely beneficial to boaters. I think it's fascinating. That history is fascinating.
It really is interesting. And to think, too, that he was doing this after his undergraduate at Berklee School of Music in Boston.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So just really this weird turn of events for him and how he ended up with this end product is really kind of neat.
Yes.
So it's a story, I'm sure, in and amongst itself. And we got to talk to Greg about this.
We really do.
We'll have to nail him down next time I come by him and be like, I need to know more.
Yeah, like tell us everything, A to Z, man.
Because I'm sure it's got a very interesting story to that part of the story.
Yep.
Right? But then you're going to go over some of the benefits of doing this, which are massive.
Yes.
Right? So this is a real game changer.
As far as propeller design. Absolutely. So real quick, according to this, 30% extended range, up to 30% fuel efficiency, increased acceleration, up to 80% quieter and less vibration, and up to 50% more in reverse thrust.
Right.
I thought that was awesome.
That's pretty cool. For a fisherman, that's really cool.
Exactly. I thought that. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Quieter, also nice. 30% fuel efficiency and 30% increase, up to 30%.
Range and efficiency go hand in hand, right?
Exactly. I was like, okay, these are great numbers, but up to 50% more reverse thrust. I'm like, that's an application that, most people don't recognize can be extremely beneficial.
Well, as you back down on a fish and a game fisher, that's a big deal, right?
Exactly.
So all of these things put together make this really, really, really impressive. So
this is an article that I think most of our readers will enjoy.
Absolutely.
100%.
No matter what you do with your boat, you can reap the benefits from this. Whether you're a fisherman, whether you're a cruiser, whether you're just the daily person that goes out for a ride, goes to the sandbar, whatever it may be, you can benefit from one of these propellers.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it.
And it's cool because what they do is they assess how to get your propeller to you based off of the model, the fit, and performance of your boat and motor combination. So it's almost like the propeller is made so that your boat is...
It's pretty much a custom fit.
Yeah, it's pretty much custom. Like it's awesome.
It's really
now,
cool. And then, keeping with the theme of this issue, he makes these products here in America. All the way around, a great product, very interesting, obviously groundbreaking in technology for the industry. And I can't wait to see where he goes next with this, because I don't think he's going to stop with this.
No. Well, with all the patents that he has, and then like they keep advancing even their testing, like even the way they test the product. It's they're committed to making something incredible.
We do know because we sat in on a press conference with him last year at IBEX, to where he's partnered with Veeam. So now he's actually going to be doing props on larger yachts. So not just your standard outboard prop.
Right.
He's thinking much bigger, and he's going bigger, which is excellent, because now think about the efficiencies he can get on a 60, 80, 100-foot yacht.
Yes, and how much that's going to lower carbon footprint. Right.
The overall lowering of carbon footprint, but not only that, reducing the noise, great for the marine sanctuary areas, right? It's not going to have as much of an impact to make the noise and drive away marine life, which is incredibly important to me. So hands off to Sharrow Marine, unbelievable product.
Hats off. Not
hands off would be bad. But hats off, excuse me. Again, I'm mixed on my words today. It's a bad day for me.
It's one of those days, man. It's one of those days. So
my mind is obviously in something else.
I know what you were going to say. You were going to say hats off, right?
To get into a hands-on project.
And now we're going to go, I thought you were going to say you were going to hand off, the next subject to me. That's what I thought you were going to do.
Let's get into our next subject, right? The next subject is strainers. We use raw water sources on your boat for a lot of different things, from your engine cooling your AC, your stabilizer, generator cooling. And all of these, if you get clogged or whatever it may be, or water restricted, it can be a major problem. You can do some serious damage to your motor, to your generator, to your air conditioning unit. Going over this is probably one of my more favorite DIY subjects in a little while, because it's something simple and something that you really need to know how to do and can benefit you in many different situations. Right? Because it's something that maybe you don't need to take your boat in for service for something so simple.
Right.
Just do it yourself.
This is something you could truly do yourself. Like when I read it, I thought, wow, it's like, I think I could do it just from the instructions that Captain Chris gave us.
Yeah. Captain Chris lays it out.
Captain Chris Caldwell. Always brings great content when it comes to DIY stuff. And so a few things. It protects the raw water pump, right? It's your first line of defense against that.
Correct.
The strainers are. Because it allows constant flow of, did you hear that? I said constant, not constant, constant flow of cooling water to the engine or generator. And the most common strainer to foul is the AC raw water pump, because you probably have the AC running while you're docked, but there's less current at the dock. So what's happening is there's a higher chance of smaller sea creatures like shrimp or minnows, right?
Whatever they might be.
Yeah, or seaweed, or even plastic bags, of getting sucked into.
Unfortunately, the plastic bag is like the kiss of death, right?
Yeah. It's rough. So the strainers are there to protect everything that comes after it. And it's important to pay attention to whether it's the AC display that can throw an error code if it tells you that, there's something clogged, or you have a clog or you have an error. So there's that. There's the dashboard. So if you start to see on the dashboard the temperature starting to creep up, okay, that's a good sign that you have some sort of clog.
engine coolant temperature
Yes.
or raw water temperature is
going up,
you may have a problem, right?
Exactly. And so it's important to know, one, when these issues might happen most. So if you're running the AC at a dock, you know, okay, that might be an issue, right? So you got to be a little careful. You want to make sure to check everything regularly, but also knowing how to clean the strainer, knowing how to clear the clock.
It's really simple.
It's really simple. It really is. Now, when it comes to that, we have all the steps quite literally, like, you know,
all the steps are right here
right
in the article.
It's in like 2 paragraphs.
From making sure that you have the cock in the right position, to opening the strainer, to putting it back, how to clean the strainer, you know, good practices while you're cleaning it out. So, you know,
one of the tips was making sure that if you are going to take a certain strainer out, to have extra seals, because the old seals might be too rough to put it back in,
brittle, right?
Yeah. So
the other one, my favorite, is maybe you don't want to do it on the dock, maybe away from the dock.
Yeah.
Because they don't swim. I love how he says they don't swim.
Exactly. So I think
I can't tell you how many times I've dropped something and go, oh no.
Yeah. So that I had that tip written down. Do this work in the bilge or in a parking lot, but not at the dock where something could fall and disappear forever.
Gone. Bye.
And then also never use a wire brush. Always use synthetic bristles.
Correct.
So like these are just little things that you learn either over time by making mistakes or by reading Southern Boating Magazine.
Even before you get into opening the strainer, knowing that if you have a clear bowl, try and shine a flashlight through it.
Right.
Right? See what's going to happen with that flashlight. You know, maybe if you can't see through it at all, guess what? Time to clean it.
Exactly.
You know, so that's a good one to know. And just in general, how easy it is. Even how to put the seals back properly. Maybe putting a little bit of lip balm on them, a clear lip balm, to help condition that seal to make it a little work.
Right.
Putting the strainer back, making sure that the strainer's seated properly. Right. Usually it's got tabs or whatever it may be in there that it only seats in one position.
Right.
So when you put the cap back on, if the cap doesn't fully go back on, guess what? Your strainer's probably not
off.
seated in there right. So
yeah, there's a lot of great tips, and it's incredible how much information is packed into such a short article. It's a page and a half of content, and it's really important because it can prevent, you know, failure, overheating and failure
of an engine, propulsion engine,
generator
engine,
AC,
your air conditioning,
it's
your
crazy.
gyro stabilizer, all of these things. If you know how to take care of this, it can prevent you from having a very costly issue down the road. You know, and that's the last thing that we want.
And in the description below, we have a link to a video of Captain Chris.
Yes.
Showing you examples of these different strainers, right? So that you can see exactly what we're talking about in the article. So we're putting that in the description right now. And then, I mean, that's everything I want you guys to know about this. It's in our July issue.
It's in the July issue. Make sure you read it because we all know this is something simple that we can take care of ourselves. And I think we need to get Chris actually on the podcast.
We do. And I know he's willing to do it.
And I know he's watching. That's why I said it.
I know. he's gonna call me again and be like, "Hey, I heard you guys want me on the podcast." Yes.
That's right. Yes.
Captain Chris, yes, we do.
I mean, that's it for this show. Make sure to come back, check us out again. But before you leave, click the subscribe button like Ian asked you to in the beginning of the video. But until now, I'm James Anderson.
I'm Ian Sneed.
Don't forget to check us back next week.
All right, cool.
We'll see you tomorrow. She shut the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we didn't do silence. Ready?
Tacos.
Right at the 10-second mark. We have a rule. We only pronounce your name right if you advertise with us.
Oh, that'll get me in so much trouble.
I had nothing to lose, Skip. All right, ready?
I'm ready.